Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another weekend crafty night here at Mommy Guide Inc. For those who are new to my channel, you don't know me yet, I am Mommy Lala. Alright, so for tonight, we're gonna be doing embossing folders. Alright, of course, that's gonna be with me, Mommy Lala, and my dear crafty friends for tonight, Ian, Tracy, Susan, Charlene, and Miss Rams. All right. But before they come in, I would first talk about what are embossing folders. All right. So embossing folders are actually things that look like this. All right. So they're called folders because just like a folder, where you have like it opens up and closes something like this. So it looks like a folder of a mini folder, so to speak, right? But then embossing folders in the beginning didn't really look like this, okay? But the one that we're gonna be talking about tonight is the ones that look like this na. Okay, because the ones that were from before, you can no longer actually buy it. So in the beginning, it was more of like there's like two pieces, you put them one on top of the other, and then you should actually have like a light box underneath so that you can see where you would actually, try to follow the design with the use of an embossing tool like this. You go over the design like that. But then came the, embossing folders, and then life became easier. So what do they do? Okay, they actually give you images. Okay, so like this one. Okay, this is before. So this is maybe almost 2 decades ago. There were actually embossing folders that looked like this. Good evening. Okay, so let's just say hi to those joining us. Okay, good evening, Samantha. Happy to be here tonight. Yes, congratulations, Samantha, for finishing the first year in UP, and it's your vacation. All right, and Viv, hi, good evening sis. Ang tagal kitang na hindi nakasama. Good evening. Hope matapos mo yung stream tonight kasi meron tayong pa-raffle. Yes. Okay, we're gonna be raffling out this embossing folder, a 3D embossing folder from Gemini. Okay, nakikita niyo po ba yung kagandahan ng image na yan? Yes, so but you need to watch the full stream tonight, okay? And we'll tell you when and what to do to actually be able to join in the raffle later. So going back, so yung embossing folders started out na ganito lang yung itsura nila. So there's small ones, and then there are even those who look like this, which look like this. Okay, so maliliit lang, no? Okay, and then biglang, okay, but the regular folders look like this. Eksakto sila, pang A2 na card. Okay, yung mga card-based na usual na ginagamit natin. Okay, so like this one. So perfect sila. Alright, so ang ginagawa, para sa, okay, before I show you how to actually use it, so go through muna tayo lahat, no? So ito yung mga original o lumang embossing folders. Okay. So up to now, nagagamit pa rin naman to. Walang problema. Okay? So I just want to show you yung parang evolution, so to speak. And nowadays, parang since last year, nagkaroon ng parang revival yung embossing folders. And so with stencils, parang nag-hand in hand sila, no? Bumalik sila, parang uso. Parang fashion lang din yan, ano? So sa crafting in a world or community, parang umiikot lang din, okay? Pero somehow, na-revitalize sila, okay? Because of, it's from the usual embossing folder that looked like this from before, right? Nagkaroon na ng mga tinatawag na 3D embossing folder, okay? 3D na, and look, mas malalaki na sila. Okay? And then, meron na silang parang mga butas sa gitna. Alright? Because sometimes you want to like extend the design. Before kasi talagang limited ka lang dito sa size na yan. Okay? So, nag-evolve na din siya. And if you would look inside, okay? So, ngayon, hindi na lang siya basta raised or embossed and debossed part. Okay? Meron pa siyang mid. Okay? So, kaya nagiging mukhang 3D na. Okay, kasi talagang makikita mo yung different layers. Okay? So, maraming manufacturers ng 3D embossing folders. Okay? But my favorites are, of course, Altenew, Sizzix, and yung sa Gemini. Alright? So, kaya sila yung meron ako. Alright? But then, there are many other brands. You have Simon Says Stamps, almost all the, manufacturing companies in craft na nag-ano ng crafts have their own line. Kasi nga, uso nga siya. May generic nga din po. So, try nyo po sa Shopee at Lazada. Makakahanap din kayo. Pwede din po. Alright? So, again, if you would see, okay, ang embossing folders po, they come in different size, okay, and then shape, size, basically. Hindi naman shape. More or less square and rectangular lang naman. Okay? So, kaso, pag titignan nyo po, okay, so ayan, no? Iba-ibang size. Iba-iba. Okay? So, ayan, maliit, susunod, and then medyo mas malaki, and then square. Okay? And also the thickness. Look at the thickness po. Okay? So, this is one. So, this is one. Ito, mas pinaka-thick, diba? Kung titignan nyo. So, with that, knowing that iba-iba yung size nila at iba-iba yung thickness nila, so how do you actually use them? Alright. So, to be able to use an embossing folder, there are certain things that you need. Of course, you need to have your embossing folder. Okay, and then what else? You need to have a die-cutting machine that can also double up as an embossing tool. Okay? So, almost all, okay? Basically, all ng embossing, ng die-cutting machines na nasa market right now, kay generic yan, kay branded yan, can actually be used. Alright? So, this is an example of a die-cutting machine. This is a Cricut Cuttlebug. Tagal na ho dito. This one, I think I had since 2014 or 15, something like that. Okay, so this is the one I'm using tonight just to show you because it's handy. Kasi po, I have arthritic hands, hindi ko na ho kaya magbuhat at mag-crank ng mabibigat. Alright? So, meron akong Team Angels later to help me. Okay? Just for the demo, I would show you how. Okay? So, you need to have this tool. Okay? So, this one, the reason I like it kasi when you open it, diba, this is a glass mat. So, meron siyang parang suction sa ilalim. Okay? So, kapag inopen ko siya, okay, so, nakadikit na siya. So, hindi siya gagalaw-galaw. Alright? So, again, iba-iba po ang die-cutting machine. Okay, this is just one. There's so many brands, iba-ibang itsura, iba-ibang size. Okay, whatever it is that you have, that's fine. Alright? So, what do you need when you use your embossing folders? Okay? So, since iba-iba ho ang size, okay, in the previous years, prior to yung advent nitong mga bagong embossing folders, manufacturers would tell you like, okay, so if you're going to emboss using this, using that, you use this kind of sandwich. Sandwich ang tawag po dun sa kung ano yung mga gagamitin mong, like ganito. Okay? Kasi normally, yung die-cutting machine, you have a platform, and then you have cutting plates, and other, bakit ko ba dito pinapakita? Dito pala. You have a platform, and then you have cutting plates, and sometimes you even have a rubber mat for embossing, and then this one. Okay? A metal one. Okay? So, normally, the manufacturers would tell you, okay, if you're going to do this, this is what you do. Okay? So, the mat first, and then the cutting pad, and then the paper, and then so on and so forth. But, because these are 3D embossing folders, and these are fairly recent innovations. So, hindi pa, kumbaga na ano nung mga manufacturers, how you're gonna actually build up your sandwich. Okay? So, what you're going to do is, ganito lang po. Okay? So, you need to, of course, always have a platform. Okay? And then, okay, you check. Of course, you need to have your paper. Okay? So, for example, this one. So, normally, for embossing, you want to use a little bit of a sturdier cardstock. So, medium to heavy cardstock. Okay, cardstocks can come in different forms as well. Okay, so for those who are new to crafting, what is cardstock? Basically po, yun yung tinatawag namin sa papel na medyo makapal. Alright, and we use for scrapbooking or card making or other paper crafting activities. Okay, so iba't iba din po siya. Merong may white core. White core meaning kapag pinilas nyo po siya, makikita nyo may white siya. Okay, katulad po nito. Makikita nyo, colored paper siya, di ba? Colored siya. Okay, pero pag pinilas mo po, makikita mo, may puti siya. Okay, so you can see that if you like make a small tear and you see a white, it means white core siya. Okay, meron namang paper po na talagang through and through yung color niya. So, hindi mo siya pwedeng, kumbaga, maski pilasin mo siya, wala kang makikitang puti. Like this. So, purple talaga, maski yung loob niya. So, it varies as well. But more or less, you use, a paper. And then from there, okay, so you get your embossing folder. Okay? So, let's, for example, say use this one. This is from Altenew. One of Altenew's latest embossing folders. This is banana leaves. This is actually designed by the daughter of Nenet. Okay? My Little Attic's daughter. Opo. Sobrang galing ni Isabella. Okay. So, there. Okay, so ilalagay nyo lang po yung papel sa loob and then ilalagay mo siya dito sa platform. Okay, so kung ito lang, platform at ito, tignan nga natin kung papasok siya. Okay, pumasok siya pero walang pressure. So, ibig sabihin, walang mangyayari, hindi siya maiipit. Alright? So, anong kailangan natin gawin? So, try nating lagyan ng, what do you call this? Ng cutting plate. Okay. Okay, since naano ko na po ito, actually, ang cutting plate na perfect for 3D embossing folder na to, hihiramin ko yung sa aking spellbinders. Okay? So, kasi siya yung mas perfect. Okay? So, pag pinasok ko ngayon, okay. Pero parang maluwag pa din siya. Okay? So, ano pa ang pwede nyo gawin? So, I added a metal plate. Okay? So, again, trial and error. Okay? Tapos, pasok nyo siya ulit. Okay, hawak. Ikot nyo lang po. Nakita nyo, umiikot. Okay, ngayon yung mga tunog-tunog, mga crank-crank, okay lang po yan. Walang kaso, normal po yan. Alright? So, if you hear those kinds of sounds. Okay? And then, you would see, ayan na yung finished product mo. Alright. Okay, is that a cuttlebug? Okay, so crafty. Okay, hold on. Okay, say Ayin. Hello, Miss Lala and crafty friends. Hello back to you. Okay, later kasama huli natin siya. Alright, and then, okay. Si Sherlyn, good evening everyone. Good evening, Charles. Is that a cuttlebug? Yes, sis. It's the very old cuttlebug. I think discontinued na to. Okay, so, you saw me do it, no? So, ganun nangyari. So, pumasok. So, what if, di ba, you have your own machine? Maybe you have a big kick, you have a sidekick, you have a Gemini, you have a spellbinder, you have whatever. Big shot. Okay, and then, ang tanong mo is, ano yung gagamitin kong sandwich? Rule of thumb. Okay, so you try. Pag naramdaman mo, let's say, ipinasok mo, no? Okay, kunwari ito. So, let's put another paper. Okay? So, tatry natin, ha? I'll put a sandwich na alam kong hindi papasok. Okay. So, like die cutting. So, dalawang plate na ganyan, no? Pinasok ko, inipit ko, and then plus the platform, papasok ko. Okay? So, normally, that's how you die cut, di ba? So, pagpasok ko pa lang, ayaw na. Okay? Ang resistance niya wala dito sa knob na to, but rather dito pa lang, oh, ayaw. Okay? So, pag ganun, wag nyo nang ipilit. Pwedeng masira ang machine nyo. Ibig sabihin, this is not the right sandwich. Alright? So, you have to remove it and try to remove one of maybe the cutting plates. Okay? And then, check again if papasok. Pumasok pero sobrang luwag. Right? So, walang pressure. So, maybe you can add, another piece of, we call this a shim. Okay? So, pwedeng papel. Papel lang ng papel ng papel hanggang maramdaman mong kumapal na siya. Or if meron ka nga nung metal, 'di ba? Na galing normally lahat ng machines merong metal, may metal plate. Okay, try mo with that. hanggang mahanap nyo yung perfect. Again, there is no specific, ito gagamitin mo, ito gagamitin mo. Because even if that sandwich works for, let's say, an Altenew embossing folder, it will not work if you change your embossing folder. Say, you're going to use a Sizzix. The Sizzix embossing folder is super thick. Although it's smaller, okay, wider si Altenew, but yung thickness ng Sizzix na to, super. So, the sandwich that I used kanina will not work. So, again, you have to, that's the very first thing, trial and error. But, just so you don't destroy your die cutting machine or embossing machine, please, the minute that you feel that there's super resistance, then don't proceed. Okay? Minus or subtract or use and try to use another set of sandwich for it. Okay. Hi, Sarah. Good morning to you. Can you do this with cotton rag or watercolor paper? Actually, you can do it with ribbon. Yes, we've tried ribbon. You can emboss the ribbon. With watercolor paper, definitely it's possible, Sarah. I've never seen anything like this machine. It's called a die cutting machine, Sarah. Don't worry, I will try to go into our group and demo. Okay, Sarah actually is a dear friend of mine. She's also a streamer. She's a watercolorist. Awesome watercolorist. I think it's sarahsteele.com. Is it, Sarah? To see some of her works. All right, so once you're done with that, okay, so once you've set up your machine like that, and then now we can proceed to the 13, actually there are more than, I counted, I think, with the ones that I actually know, there's about 26 already. But for, observance of the time, I don't think we can do all the 26 and then finish all of the 26 outputs in one night, even if we go like 4 hours, because it's really very lengthy. You know how we do stuff here at Crafty Nights, right? So we actually do the demo and then we actually end up with the actual outputs. All right, same as mine. Great, Charlene. So you can actually I know Charlene has several, not just this one. All right, so let's start. Okay, so I will remove this. Okay, again, you can use whatever die cutting machine you have. Okay, I just place it down. Okay, so let's start with the first one. Okay, so the very first technique. Okay, do you see this one? It's so nice, right? This is actually a Bergenia. How do you pronounce it? Bergenia? I'm not a plant, a plantita. So I am sorry if I'm murdering the name of this awesome plant. Okay. So this is the easiest way and the normal way to use an embossing folder is to actually come up with something like this. Again, whatever paper you want, whether it actually watercolor paper, Sarah, is best, especially if you're gonna be inking it or if you want to watercolor it after. Let's say you want to use just, a watercolor paper. And then after that, you're going to have an image that looks like this. And then you can put watercolor on it. Perfect. It can be done. All right. So that's the very first use. Okay, so how do you do this? Okay, I will just try to find wherever that is. Okay, and hold on. I have to call my assistants. As I said, somebody will be doing the cranking for me, guys, so that we will be able to move fast. Okay, so they're my angels, Yaya Made and Yaya Kat. Okay, so I will just try to find. Okay, so this one. Okay, that is this embossing folder. Okay, is this the one? Yeah. Okay, this is the embossing folder I used to make this one. Okay, so I started with a purple, paper, just a regular paper. Okay, a regular mid-weight cardstock. Okay, so what you do is you just insert the paper, close the embossing folder, and let it go through an Okay, the machine. Okay, Yaya will do it for me. Okay, for now, I'll do this because it's easy. Okay. Can you please put it up? Okay, yun sa mahihirap na natin sila pagawa. Okay, so since this is still easy, I can do this. Okay. Again, just open it up like so. Okay. Get this one. Okay, and then the metal plate. Okay. Again, this is just for my machine. It may not be the same sandwich that you can use for your machine, okay? And then I put in the embossing folder with the paper. And then that's my sandwich. Okay, and then just roll it in like so. Okay, and after that, I already have my embossed image. Okay, now, usual question. Lala, is it better if you wet the paper first before you put it inside and emboss it? Alright. Yes. Alright. Why? There are certain paper like this one. The one with white core. Okay, so this is basically what happened to it. Okay, so I didn't wet it prior to, putting it inside the embossing folder and then rolling it. So what happened is it cracked. Okay, it actually cracked. I'm trying to find, okay, a similar embossing. Okay, so this one. Okay, I placed it inside. I used a tulip embossing folder. And do you see what happened? Okay, there's a crack. Now, if eventually you want to have that, distressed look, okay, then this is fine. But if you want a perfect output like this one, then what you do is others, they use like a water spray bottle. They spritz the paper front and back. Okay, but sometimes that is not even. Sometimes you get water only here or water only here. So Jennifer Maguire, one of my favorite, of course, crafters of all time, paper crafter of all time, said that it's actually best. And I actually realized that it's true that the best way is to just get the paper first. Okay, and then just a little bit damp paper. Okay, and then damp it on both sides so that it's even. It softens the paper so that when you emboss it, you're not gonna have cracking. Unless, again, that's the look that you desire. All right, so again, this is the very first use, all right, of the embossing folder. Okay, this in itself is already very gorgeous, right? You can already use it for your, card making or whatever, your scrapbooking or whatever it is that you need to use it for. Okay? So embossing folders come in different shapes and different designs. All right? So this is the very first. So to deboss. Okay, so this part is the embossed part. If you turn it around, then you get the debossed side. Right? So if you want to use the embossed side, you can. If you want to use the debossed side, the one where it goes down, then it's also possible. All right, hold on. I will just bring in one of my crafty sisters coming in. All right. So that's just one. Okay, so what are the other? Okay, the next one is you can actually use distress inks. Okay, so we're gonna get a little bit, add a little bit more technique. All right. So first, ate, pakiayos ang kalat ko at baka may mapindot ako dito. All right. Okay. So you can see this is a glass mat. Okay, so it's okay. I can put inks onto this one and it's easy to clean. Okay, so if you don't have a glass mat, what can you use? You can use silicone mats, you can use wax paper, you can use plastic, you can use whatever it is that you have that will not stain your table. Okay, and stuff. Okay, plantita. Yes, Sarah, that's what we call in the Philippines, people who like plants, plantita. All right. So, the next thing that you can do, okay, is to actually put, inks. Okay, so this is, as you know, one of the inks that I like best. All right, distress oxide, because they're very, versatile, because they're a combination of dye ink and pigment ink, right? So the properties, it has both, so it's very nice. So let's try. Okay, so for example, you want to use, what do I have here? Okay, so what do you want me to mix? Okay, so let's try this one na lang. Let's do Broken China and Mermaid Lagoon. Okay, this one. Okay, so I'll put, okay, some here directly on my mat. Okay, some Broken China. Okay, and then some Mermaid Lagoon. Like so. And then I'll just get a brayer. Okay, like this. Okay, so the usual brayer that, like, remember we did gel plates a few months ago. I think it was in March or April that we did gel plates. Okay, it's the same thing that I use for this. So you just simply, glide this over your mat. Okay, and then mix it like so. Okay, but my brayer is not rolling for some weird reason. Okay, let's try to use another brayer. This brayer somehow is not. Okay, this is better. See? Okay, so it blended. Okay, and then I will now put it onto my paper. Okay, like so. Okay, get it? All right, and then I will choose my embossing folder. Okay, so after I've done this, what I'm gonna do now is to, okay, get paper tissue, okay, and then just wipe, okay, your table or your mat, like so. Okay, and then just with a dry towel, and then it's done. Okay, so what do I do now with this one? So I get an embossing folder. I'm gonna use this one from Gemini. Okay, I'm gonna put it inside. Dai, where are you? Where are my angels? All right. So, and then this will go through the machine. Okay, emboss, please. Okay, so that's the second one. Okay, the next kind, okay, or type is, we can actually, while the artists are actually going through putting it into the die cutting machine or embossing machine, okay, is we can actually put the ink directly on your embossing folder instead of putting it on your craft mat or your glass mat. You can actually put it directly onto your embossing folder. All right, so how? Okay, let's use the same inks for demo. Okay, so okay, there are two sides, right, when you open it. So normally the front is the one where you can see the name of the manufacturer or the name of the embossing folder. So it, depending on the manufacturer, okay, it, but normally it's always on the front. Okay, so this one's Sizzix, this one's Altenew. All right, so okay, so this is the finished product. Okay, so darker on the bottom, that's the Mermaid Lagoon, and then lighter on top. Okay, that's the Broken China. And then this is the design of the embossing folder. Okay, wait. My camera doesn't do justice to the beauty of this one. All right, do you see it? There you go. So that's the second thing that you can do. So distress ink, okay, brayer it on directly on the paper and go through with the embossing folder. The next one is directly onto the embossing folder. So you'll see when you open it, okay, the one side has the raised images. Okay, so you will see that, the flowers are the ones raised. Okay, here you would see that the flowers are debossed. Okay, and then you will see flat surfaces on the sides or in between the images. Okay, so this is the one that you want to actually put ink on. Okay, again, what kinds of ink can you use? You can use dye ink, you can use pigment ink, you can use Versamark ink. It doesn't matter. Okay, so you would see that I am putting ink, okay, onto the folder, like so. Okay, so you may drag it, you may twist it. Just try to make sure that you're doing this on a flat surface, so that the pad, and a firm pad, so that the insides, okay, do not, or the ones that are debossed will not have inks on them. Okay, as much as possible, you don't want that to happen. Now if you see some, okay, like I see some here, okay, so you can just simply, clean it off. But anyway, since this is, normally you want, this one is very forgiving because the design isn't really, for perfect. It's more for like it looks, okay. And remember, this is a 3D embossing folder, meaning so there's the deboss, and then there's the emboss, and there's the middle part. So you will really get something like, a smudge of some sort in the middle, okay? And then you just put your paper as much as possible, try not to make it move, all right? And then let it go through the machine again, okay? Look, from here you can already see how gorgeous this is going to be turning out, okay? So, yeah, it's going to show us, okay. So, I actually did, okay, before we started, so if only I can find it. So that's the thing. Okay, there you go. Okay, so again, the first one, okay, is just the simple, simple embossing. Okay, so just put a paper, run it through the embossing folder into the die cutting machine to emboss it, and then it's done. Okay, the second part is where you actually put, okay, this is a sample. I placed, okay, so I embossed already the paper, and then added already I added first the ink. So this is a combination, and then I placed it onto an embossing folder. This is the wood by Sizzix, and then this is what it looks like. Okay, so the first one was actually this one. Okay, the one I showed you kanina. And then the third one, okay, so this is what now it looks like. So you see, so the embossed part, okay, still white, and then the ones in the middle, the debossed part is the one that's colored. Okay, so something like this as well. Okay, another one is something like this, a different embossing folder. Okay, so you see that part where parang ganon, that's the debossed, parang linen, that's the debossed part. So siya yung merong orange. So yung parang mga swirl, they remain white. Okay, so same technique. All right. Let me see. Are there questions, comments? None. Okay, so we proceed. Third. Okay, so that's the third one. Fourth, embossed paper plus white pigment ink. Okay, so the next one is the same. Okay, so I embossed this one. Okay, so I really like this embossing folder. Okay, and then after that, what you do is you get a white embossing, white ink, either a pigment ink or a distress ink. Okay, and then you can, put white, okay, or on the edges, like so, okay, to add, to add more dimension. Okay, and then just clean off your, okay, your workspace. Okay, so there. Okay, so you can accentuate it by adding white ink. All right, so that's the fourth one. The fifth one, okay, so the fifth one is, again, you go through the embossing folder. This one I used a tulip. Okay, and then what do you do with it? Okay, hold on, I'm gonna get something that is, Okay, where is it? See, when you need it, it's not there. Asan yung isang tulip na ginawa natin before? Anyway, so I'll just try to do this still. All right, so this is the tulip, right? So no, it's perfect. So ako, when you try to do the sanding, it's best if you have a paper that is white core, okay, with a white core. I'm trying to find the one that I have not sanded yet so that I can demo. When I sand it, you will see how nice it is. Okay, this one. Thank you, Yaya. May lumilipad na papel papunta sa akin. Alright. So, again, I showed you this before. This is a Tim Holtz sanding block, but you don't need to have this. You know, yung mga pang ano, yung sa manicure or something, pang file. Okay, you can actually use that. So, to protect my glass mat, okay, I'll just use a paper. Okay, so there are ridges, di ba? Kasi 3D embossing folder nga ito. So, may naka-raise siya. So, what you simply do is you, okay, run it through, okay, to have that, you know, distressed look. That's why I told you this one, diba? It cracked when I went in, because I forgot to put water. But it's okay, because the design I want for this, I want it to look distressed. Right? So I didn't want to make it look perfect. So there. Now it's distress. Okay? And something like this eventually. All right. So again, so you can also distress using sandpaper. Okay? All right. What's next? Next. Okay? Number 7. Okay, Versamark ink directly on embossed paper. All right, so let's clean my table first. Versamark ink. So what's a Versamark ink? Okay, so it's an ink that we use to actually do heat embossing. Okay, because the embossing powder needs a medium for it to stick onto the paper. Okay, now some dye inks that doesn't really like distress inks, they don't really dry so fast. So you can also use that. But normally we use pigment inks or Versamark. Versamark has a lot of, in its formulation, it has glycerin. All right, so it can really be used. Okay, so what you do, okay, so the first thing, the first what do you call this technique is to actually put this directly onto the embossed paper. Okay, so for example, this. Oop, can you see it? There we go. So this is actually, what's the name of this one? Okay, the embossing folder is called Areca Palm. Okay, it's from Altenew. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So what you do is, okay, first, I want to use my, where is that? Okay, the anti-static powder. Okay, so that, okay, the Versamark will only attach or stick to the ones that I really want. Okay, so that the embossing powders later, okay, will not adhere to it. Okay, and then after that, I use my, it's very dirty, right? Don't worry, those are just stained, but it's clean. Okay, I'll just put, okay, Versamark ink on top of my, okay, my image, my embossed image. Okay, and then I will try, okay, so this is not perfect, it's just I want to show you basically how you're gonna do it. Okay, so I just embossed that part. Okay, and then what you're gonna do is, okay, I'll just get my embossing stuffies. All right, so this is just you know, filter paper. Okay, and then you get your, painit na nung heat gun. Okay, so I want to use this one. Okay, cracked pistachio. Cracked pistachio. Okay, a distress cracked pistachio. Okay, it's already open. Okay, don't worry because you will actually, okay, remove that. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Now, if you feel that there are certain parts of your image that you don't want, like that part, Okay, you don't want that to have powder. So you can just simply, you know, get a dry brush and remove it. Clean it up before you actually emboss it. Like so. Okay, don't worry because Versamark dries really long or slow. So you still have time to actually do that. The thing is, normally in a regular embossing folder, this is easy because it's just traced and debossed. Okay, but a 3D embossing folder has like mid height, right? So even if you, it's like even if there are some places where your your ink might actually stick, or your powders might actually get stuck in, okay, even though you don't want it to be there. Okay, so I'll turn it over to my angels, okay, and then they will do this already. All right, there you go. Okay. Okay, and then don't worry about this because you can simply put it back. Okay, and I will still use this for the next, because the next style or technique is still similar. Okay, but we're gonna do the opposite. Okay, so this one is something I did prior. Okay, so I added again Versamark on top, only on the image, right? Only on the image. Okay, so okay, so this is the first one. You put the Versamark ink and then you put your embossing powder and then it would look like this. Okay, the next one, okay, is the opposite. Okay, so on the next one, embossing folder please. Give me another embossing folder. Okay, so let's use the same. Okay, but this time around, okay, we're gonna put the embossing or the Versamark ink directly onto the, okay, sorry about the noise because we're heat embossing. Oo, ate, baka gusto mong dun ka banda because you're very noisy. Nabibigyan na sila. Oo. So, banda dun kayo mag-emboss. Alright. So, again, you look for the part where there is a flat surface. Okay. So, and then, instead of an ink, kanina we placed, diba, a distress ink. This time around, you're gonna put your Versamark ink. Okay. On top. Okay. There you go. Okay, and then we put your paper. Okay, again, I didn't even check if this is perfectly, kasi for time purposes. Okay, so there. Okay, and then, okay, okay. Yaya will put it into the die cutting machine. Alright, while the other Ate Made is actually heat embossing the first one. Okay, that should look something like this. So only the raised images will be embossed. Okay, or heat embossed. Okay, so now what do we do with this one? Okay, so this one, okay, we pour in the powder. Okay, everywhere. Brush. Okay. Okay. So you would see that basically all the, okay, so all the edges supposedly you want that. Okay, so what if there are parts that you see that are not, like for example this part, can you see it? This part, that should be a debossed part, so that should actually have embossing powder, but apparently hindi siya napuntahan ng Versamark. So what you can do is, if you have a Versamark marker like this, okay, let me see if this is okay, it's like a Versamark ink pad but in pen form, so you can actually, put it put an ink over there. Okay, close please. And then put your embossing powder. So there, na-cover na siya. Okay, so you can do the same thing for the rest. Okay, so just clean it up. Okay, so there's a little bit of cleaning up again because this is a 3D embossing folder that we're using. If you're using the regular embossing folder, this is actually pretty easy because it's only just the debossed and the embossed part. Okay, but this one is a 3D embossing folder, so there are mid and then there are debossed and then there are embossed part. Okay, so Yayas will fix this. Clean yung mga hindi dapat yung debossed lang yung meron. Okay, and then hit emboss. Okay, so they already know what to do. Train. All right, so they are my crafty angels, so to speak. All right, so they actually also prepare whenever we have like workshops or stuff for joyful crafters or for crafty nights. They are the ones who actually help me prepare all the materials that are actually needed. So that's why I really like this paper, no? Kasi it's so easy to actually put it back. Okay, and then cover. Okay, and then I'll clean my workspace like so. So that you don't say na super messy ko. There you go. Okay. So that's number 7. There's a mark. Okay. There's a mark on all raised areas. Okay. So this time, we're gonna do another one like that. But this time around, okay, we're gonna put again, okay, so let's use another embossing folder. Again, after pala, if you use ink or Versamark inks on your embossing folder, don't forget to clean it after, ha? Okay, here lang, my angels are the ones cleaning na after. Okay, so let's use a different embossing folder. So let's use, say, let me see, what do I want for purple? Yeah, let's use this one. Okay. Pakilinis to. Pakilinis siya. White, wet tissue. Okay, let me see. Are there comments? Good evening, Miss KM. Okay, let me see. I'm trying to look for... Okay. The Yaya's using it. The one I like is not here. Palinis Ning. Yeah, she's using it. So, the next one is I'm gonna be using Perfect Pearls. Okay? Perfect Pearls are pigment powders. You know how old these Perfect Pearls are. Okay. So, again, this is how I store my Perfect Pearls. Okay, so this storage I got from Japan Home. Or is it Miniso? Or is it the other one? What's the other one? Japan Home. Ano yung isa pa? Daiso. I think this is from Daiso. Alright, the thing I like about this is because first and foremost, it has a lock. Okay, and the second is that inside is another container. So you can actually use this and this. Okay, so by twos. So it's really perfect. So I like it. Okay, so I'm gonna be using this again, the daisy. Okay, so again, look for the part where you have the deboss of the flower and then you have a flat side on the sides. Okay, so I'm gonna use again, okay, my Versamark, okay, ink. Okay, I'll just ink it again all over on that side. Okay. Okay, and then I'm gonna, okay, let's say, what color do I want? Purple. Let's choose a purple. Okay, so let's choose a blue one. There you go. Okay, and then they're gonna pass it through a machine, please. Okay, so what will happen is that after they emboss that one, it goes back to me, and then I will put, okay, Perfect Pearls. Okay, the Versamark ink, okay, that I placed, okay, in between, okay, those will actually be the one to make the pigment, Versamark pigment, okay? So I will use blue patina, okay? That will stick to that, okay? If only I can find my dry brush. Where's my dry brush, Neng? Kinuha niyo ba? Can I have it? Alright. So you can hear whirring sound at the background because that's the ates. Actually, okay. So this is, okay, so sometimes nagbuo-buo na ito kasi nga for so many years. Parang ngayon ko lang siya ulit nagamit, diba? Tignan nyo, parang bato-bato na. So I just have to crack it a little bit. Hold on. Okay. Alright. Okay. So I'll just get, a tinge. Okay. And then I will, dab it onto the parts where I want it. Okay. Don't worry guys, because you can actually remove that later on, and just like the embossing powder, what I did to the embossing powder, okay, that can also be done here. You just need to put it back. Okay, so these are perfect pearls. So the pigment powder actually needs to be set. Okay, so once you put it, it can still be removed if you touch it. Okay, hold on. Yeah, sige, lagay lang dyan. Okay, so and then you can get a piece of cloth, but it's gone. I cannot find it. Okay, so like so. Okay, but this is what it would look like after. Okay. Do you see? I hope you can see it. Okay. But after, you would see that shiny, oh my gosh, you cannot see it. Come on, camera. Come on, lights. What do I do with the lights? You cannot see. Supposedly, you would be able to see the shiny part on that side. Okay, hold on. Okay, this is probably a better one. Okay, because I used white paper. Okay. So, okay. So, basically, this is what happened to remember, the embossed, okay, I mean the Versamark and then placed ink, okay, and then heat emboss. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So, the background has color and it has set. This is heat embossed, okay, and then this one is the one where the image is the one that is heat embossed with Versamark. Okay, so, this one, you cannot really see it because it's blue on blue and the camera somehow is finding a hard time going through it, but this one you can. Okay, so this is a purple. Do you see what happens? The Versamark ink, okay, on the sides, okay, or the debossed part, okay, actually, and then I placed this one I used this one, grape fizz, okay. It becomes darker and shiny. Oh my gosh. The struggle is real. Okay, how do we show it? Can you see it? How can we see it? Do you see? This part is shiny and it's darker than the images, the raised images. Okay, so this is already set. So it's okay, I can touch it, okay? So what do you do? Okay, so this one is new, remember? I just added it. So to set it, all you need to do is to either use a sealer or a sealant, but in this case, I normally just spritz with water. Okay, and then I let it dry. And then it's sealed. Okay, so that's how you use your perfect pearls. Okay, Versamark and then perfect pearls. Okay? Okay, and then the next one, number 8. Okay, so another crafty friend coming in. All right. Okay. All right, so this one is the opposite of this one. So it's the same image, right? But this one on pink paper. So this one, I ink where's the embossing folders is, my dears? Okay, so I inked the embossing folder. This one, I embossed first the paper, and then I placed the embossing ink. Okay, so for this, I suggest that you use, if you're gonna put it on the, image, you can use a smaller, okay, a cube, Versamark cube, okay, and just dab onto the image, the raised image, okay, or if you have a Versamark pen, like this, okay, so for the detailed, if you want detailed, what do you call this, so that the pigment powders would actually stick where you want it to stick, especially if the image is detailed. So, and then just put the powder, and then set. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So different look, right? This one, it's the debossed part with the perfect pearls. This one is the embossed part. Okay, and then don't worry, I'm gonna put all of this in the description after the show. Okay, so next, Versamark directly on embossing folder paper, then add perfect pearls. I think that's 9 na pala. Okay, next, emboss gel plate background and then sand. Okay, so remember, like I think again in April we did, gel plates, and then as I was doing, the different gel, I was preparing a lot of papers using gel prints. I have a lot of extras, remember, because when I clean my brayer, I don't throw the paper. Okay, so these are the, the example of the stuff that I used when I did the gel prints. All right, so I actually, okay, can use those as a background and then emboss it. So this is an example of which, okay, so I just embossed it, and then on top of it, I die cut a letter out of it, right? So I'm gonna actually use that for later. And then finally, you have your foil paper. So again, it's the same, no? You have to go through the embossing folder into the machine. Okay, so how about foil paper? Foil paper looks like this. Okay, you can actually buy it in Shopee or in Lazada or in other craft stores here and abroad. Where is my my paper? My foil paper, mga ate ko. Okay, I'm trying to find one that is not yet. Okay, here you go. But I only have gold. Okay, so actually I started with gold, or some people call this glass paper, and silver. Okay, so I used a Sizzix embossing folder na gear ni Tim Holtz. Okay, and then, okay, so ito pala yung nagawa ko pang isa dun sa gel plate ko. Tapos, dinaan ko sa machine, and then, so yan na yung embossed form niya, and then sinand ko. Okay, so that's another one. Okay, so now we're on to this one. So you put your, your foiled paper, okay, onto the, okay, embossing folder, run it through the machine, and after that, you're gonna get an embossed, okay, image of the gear. Okay, pero in either gold or silver. So what I did to make it a little bit more, more distressed or more aged, I added gesso. Actually, I didn't have black gesso kasi I don't also have black acrylic. Okay, you can actually, if you don't have, black gesso, you can have a gesso and then use black acrylic paint to color it. So what I use is brown. But since brown with white makes it, muted. So it's not really the kind of brown I wanted, but that's fine. So eventually when it dried up, okay, I actually sanded it. Again, like so. So to remove, some of those colors, and then you have scratches everywhere. I have to really do something about this camera because it isn't showing, the details that I want you guys to see, like the scratches and the aged effect, okay, from that technique. Anyways, and then I placed a silver background. Okay, so this can actually now be a perfect, base for a mail card. Okay, and then that's for the silver. For the gold, it's the same gear then. Okay, so this is what it looks like originally. Very golden, right? Very shiny. So again, it became like this because after embossing, I added, gesso with the brown mixed acrylic, and then after it dried, I sanded it like so, and it looks like this now. And then I just put a gold background, and this is what it looks like. All right, so that's number 11. Number 12. Number 12 looks like this. Okay, so this is a banana plant. Again, it's from Alten New. It's also designed by Isabella, Nenet's daughter. Okay, so what I did here is, again, go through the embossing folder, and once it's embossed already, you remember our last episode where we did water reactive pigments, okay? Specifically gelatos, distress crayons, and carandash. Okay, so for this, I actually used this one, okay? The green gelato. All I did was to simply, put a little bit of green, like so, like that. Okay, and then I just made my water wet. My water wet, my fingers wet. And then, rubbed it like so. There. So you have a little bit of detail on the mid and on the sides, like so. Okay, so you can also use your water reactive pigments on this one. Okay, and then the last one, okay, to make it 13 for tonight, is emboss on embossed. Okay, so meaning this part, okay, this is actually, this embossing folder, where is it? Yung Gemini. The Gemini, yung malaki. Mahaba, pinakamahaba at pinakamalaki. That one. Okay. So the background actually is this embossing folder. The one that I'm actually going to be raffling off tonight is this awesome one. Okay. It looks like this, guys. It's so awesome. Don't you think so? Right. So this is this embossing folder, and this is the one that's going to be raffled out later. All right. So sabi nila, out ka na daw, Ayin and Miss B, because sobra yung lucky nyo. Palagi kayong nananalo. So, kung pwede, wag na daw kayong sumali. Alright? So, that one. Okay. And then, I embossed again with, okay, an Altenew embossing folder. Yung gitna lang. Yung isang plant na nasa gitna lang. Okay. That one. Okay. With this one. Okay. The scallop flower. Okay. And then, nilagay ko lang sa gitna. Okay, tapos, ayan na. So, I have a background na embossed na parang ito. And then, I just added the second one. And then, to make it pop, okay, I just used gelato. Okay, the maroon one. Okay, like so. Okay, and then, pwede na siya ulit base for your card. Alright! And so, that is 13 awesome tricks or techniques that you can do with your embossing folders. Actually, ang dami pa po. So, siguro mag-part 2 na lang tayo, ha? Kasi mga 20 plus yan, eh. Alright. So, for now, okay, before I bring in my crafty friends, okay, alright. So, my angels are actually cleaning up, okay, and my crafty friends are actually waiting already. Okay, so, but before we bring them in, okay, I want to read some of the comments. Sorry, I was doing the demo, so I wasn't reading the comments much. So, let's go back for now. Ayin says, hi, Sarah. I saw how you watercolor painting. You're so talented. Yes, Sarah, my friends actually saw how you paint. Okay, good evening from Ikigai Diaries. Wow, ang ganda. Yes, I love embossing folders. And they're actually quite cheap compared to, stamps and all of those things. All right. And Miss B, good evening, Miss B. Good evening, Tracy. And I said already, good evening, Miss KM. And good evening, Miss Judy. Nako, baka manalo na naman si Miss Judy mamaya. Let's see. All right. So, let's bring in my crafty friends. Okay, go.
Okay, sige. Good
Go.
evening ulit.
Yes.
Ano ba sasabihin ko? Teka.
Good
Hello.
evening.
ano ba? Um,
Hi.
Pinawala sa sarili. Ang tawag dito, yung ginawa ko ngayon is, hindi kasi ako hindi. Wala ako talagang embossing folder. Inano ko na siya, dinistash ko na siya, and wala naman akong balak na bumili ng embossing folders in the future kasi hindi ko siya ano ba tawag dito? Parang
Hindi niya peg.
hindi naman sa gusto. More like parang hindi ko lang siya talaga nagagamit.
Wag na sa presinto ka
wala akong
mag-explain.
ganon. Thankfully,
Wala po, sorry.
Sa presinto lang akong paliwanag. Sa presinto lang akong magpapaliwanag.
Ikaw.
Babe, lala.
Yan, there's
I'm sorry.
lightning.
Okay, go. Sorry po. Tahimik na ako.
Thankfully, si Anne, masipag at marami siyang mga new design ng embossing folders. So, sa kanya ako nag-request na kung pwede, niya ako, padalhan niya ako ng yung tapos ang gagamitin niyang paper, watercolor, kasi yung watercolor ko siya. So, yun yung ginamit ko dito is watercolor, tapos, isang kulay lang. Kasi, hindi ko alam. Tamad kasi, hindi ako magaling mag-mix ng watercolor. Parang, anong tawag dito? Diba usually sa Copic, yung iba-ibang kulay, para yung
Be-blend.
tawag doon yung lala, mo yung kulay.
Ma-blend mo.
Hindi ma-blend.
Mm.
Oo. Sa watercolor, medyo takot ako na mag-mix ng ng kulay.
Mm.
So, ang ginagawa ko is yung ginagamit ko, tapos titipin ng yung mga areas na may mga shadow, ganon. And then, yun yung ginawa ko dito. Tapos, naisip ko na yung pinakagitna niya, instead na kulayan ko ng brown, nilagyan ko siya ng yung mga beads na ginagamit dun sa ang tawag din niya, yung
Ay, ito na naman
nauso
tayo.
ngayon, diamond beads ba yun?
Oo, diamond bead something. Oo.
Ayun.
Yan.
Oo. So, mga leftover ng project ni Mama. So, binigay niya sa akin. Bawal umubo.
Sorry po.
Binigay niya sa
Ang strict naman ng ating
Binigay niya sa akin. Tapos,
doctor.
naisip ko na yun yung gawin kong center niya. And then, nilagyan ko nung gold wax.
Okay.
Next time, ang gagawin ko, kasi usually sabi naman ni Ayin is pwede mong gamitin yung kamay mo, di ba? Tapos i-wrap mo. And then I remember na sabi niya, maging careful ka sa pag-wrap kasi means siya, yung para siyang, nga tawag dun, Ayin, yung parang mamamali ka ng wrap, siya, pwede siyang maging parang mamuo yung katulad niya, no? Supposed to be nasa siya, sa gilid lang, pero dahil nga nasa kamay ko siya, nagkaroon siya ng parang extra. Next, gagamitan ko wrap para precise yung paglalagay. And then, good thing naman, wala kasi ako yung mga tag sa ganyan, title, sentiments. Pero meron akong paper na, meron akong paper na 6x6 na may sentiments.
Yay!
So, yun yung kinuha ko, and then, may kinaguna ako dito. Tapos, pinasikat ko lang siya, tapos ni-random ko lang siya dito.
Yun pala yun.
Talaga to, ipapadala ko to.
Kanino?
Kukwentuhan yung mga Daisy.
Kanino yan ipapadala?
Ipapadala ko to kay Milene.
Kay
May
Milene.
dumating na, si Ayin. Yung ipapadala ko kay Milene na
Magic
photo.
fruit.
So, naisip ko, padalhan ko rin siya ng card na may kinalaman dun sa sa pinadala ni Ayin.
Wow.
So, kasama nun
So thoughtful.
yung card. Tapos sa loob, so syempre, di ba, ko siya, laptop ko. Hindi siya ang naiwanan is yung THI, tapos Pepe, hug. Nawala yung R, nawala yung S, saka yung is A. So,
Okay.
ang ginawa ko is yung lang ko siya. So, ayaw ko ulitin.
Okay. Okay, so ginawa mo ng paraan.
So, ginawa ko siya ng paraan, ginamitan ko siya ng black pen. Tapos
Alright.
sinuot ko siya. Hindi naman siya mukhang na di ba?
No.
Mukha pa rin siya,
It looks fine. Kung hindi mo nga sinabi, I wouldn't have,
Oo.
recognized na may issue yan eh. Oo. Good job.
Pero yun nga, nagulat ako nung tinanggal ko yung yung acrylic black. Yung
Correct.
hindi. Ano nangyari doon? So, yun yung niya. So, susulatan ko pa yan dito bago ko ipadala next week. So, ayan. Kasi, parang feeling ko need niya ng paper hug. Ayan.
Okay, very good.
Yun lang.
Thank you. Alright, thank you,
Ayan,
Trish.
sabay
Okay.
kumulog.
Alright, now, Charles. Hi, Charles. Naku,
Hello.
nag-freeze.
So
Nag-freeze.
this is the
Ayan.
embossing folder I used.
Teka.
Yung pala
It
yun.
froze nga. And this is the embossing folder I used.
Oo.
So initially, tried your technique na I put Versamark ink here. It didn't work. Everything brushed off. So what I did
Oo.
was I used na lang an embossing pen, which is what he said, for
Oo.
and then I colored it different colors.
Okay. Ang cute.
And then I embossed it.
Embossing
Embossing
powder.
Then I put some glitter lang.
Embossing.
Daw?
Sorry.
Yeah. And I also made a mistake. That's why I covered it with a big birthday. I made a mistake. There was a blue, it's really ugly. So I
Kasi
covered
5
it.
balloons pala dapat yan di ba?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There was one in the middle, but it's really ugly. So,
Ang galing, di ba?
and then I put some stars and confettis. Yan.
Nice. Woo! Ganda.
Very good.
In fairness, look at that, di ba? Na-disaster pero gawan pa rin ang paraan. Thank you, Charles. Good job.
Tawag
Yay.
dyan?
Happy disasters.
Happy disaster.
Okay. O, sis Ayin. Sis Ayin.
Miss Lala,
Hindi pa. Okay. O, magra-raffle muna ako.
Raffle ka naman.
O, sige. Asan na ba yung raffle ko? Paano ba yun? Ito. O, ayan na. Mag-raffle na kita. Alright? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wala na bang hahabol? Okay, wala na. Sa Facebook, puro lang sila naka-live. Ayaw nilang mag-comment. Okay, so sige. This is it, Pansit. And this embossing folder goes to... Kanino. Grabe, sabi ko na eh. Dapat hindi na isali to eh. Alright, goes to Miss B. Hindi ba tulog na? Kapag tulog na, tatanggalin, di ba? Pag ano? Ano ba?
Ilan lang kami, di ba?
Tapos siya pa rin na nagnanalo. Grabe ka talaga, Miss B. Yahoo daw, Yahoo!
Hindi ko talaga kinaya yung lalber.
Ayan. Present daw, present. Okay, fine. Ako, duda ko, ano lang yan eh. Alam mo, Ani, kapag talaga kasama tong mga to, malabo tayong manalo dito eh. Pag nandyan si V, andyan si Ayin, o kaya andyan si Charlene, yung tatlong combination na yan.
Sila talaga.
Oo, yung tatlong yan, nako. Promise.
Galing ni Sis
Dalawa na yung
B.
pangalan mo, di pa ako na ko.
Okay, ako na muna ha, pa-present kasi hintayin natin si Sis Ayin para hindi siya masyadong ma-stress mode. Okay, so ako na lang po muna. Okay, palitan ko lang ang aking camera to this one. Okay. Alright. So, okay, first one. Again, ito pong mga ginamit ko. Ito yung ginamit ko kanina, remember, when I discussed the different, hindi naman ako yung microphone ko. When I discussed the different techniques na pwede nyo gawin with your embossing folder. Alright, so this is the first one. Actually, this was the 13th technique, 'di ba? Yung embossing folder on, 'di ba? Ang dumi ng kamay ko. Embossing folder on embossing folder. Huwag niyo na tignan yung kamay ko. Ito na lang. Okay, embossing folder on embossing folder. So, since very, very magulo na and intricate na yung design kasi there's embossing on embossing, and then I just, 'di ba nilagyan ko to ng gelato. Okay, but then hindi siya masyadong shiny. So I added this one. Okay, so it's an artsy wax. Okay, so this one. There you go. Okay, so I just rubbed it on top of the image I want, and then just added the word hello. Okay, na finom ko po, and then just added, a little bit of a bling. There you go. Okay, so that's the first one. It's hello. Okay, and then, so dito natin lagay yung mga natapos na. Okay, so the second one, this was actually yung technique where you can actually use yung mga ginamit nyo for, if you made your own background using gel plate. Okay, so you use it as yung paper mo for embossing. And then after that, I just sanded, okay, this one, para lumabas yung white ng paper. Okay, kasi remember, it's very, kumbaga yung image, ay yung paper ko, yung background ko, ang daming color, ang daming design. So, hindi mo masyado makita yung image. But when you sand it, so lalabas yung white, so lumitaw siya. Right? And then, I added just the sentiment, congratulations. This came from a 12 by 12 paper. I forgot na kung ano kasi pinagsama-sama ko na po yan. So what I do normally is, see, I already have like prepared sentiments na nakaganyan. And then I normally just choose. That's why I can work fast during crafty nights. So yung mga embellishments ko, normally naka-prepare na. Okay? Kasi if lahat yun, gagawin ko pa din, wala akong matatapos. Alright? And then, I just added, buttons. Okay? So, I have like, mga ganyan-ganyan dito na mga buttons here beside me. Okay? So, that's it. Second. Okay? And then, the third one is this one. Okay? So, remember the technique for this. The technique is, on the embossing folder, you put Versamark. Okay? Sala lang mahanap ko yung Versamark ko, hindi ko mahanap. Anyway, you just put Versamark on the cover of the deboss side, okay? And then you run the paper through it, and then after mo siyang ma-emboss, lagyan mo ng embossing powder, so kakapit siya supposedly doon sa mga deboss part. Okay? And then heat gun mo, ganyan na siya. Okay? And then I just added a base, okay, and a border. Okay, and then I added 2 pearls. Okay, and then there's a frame. If you can see, there's a parang square frame underneath. So that, kasi this is white and then there are white flowers. So, kung ididiretso ko yung sentiment ko na you make me smile, hindi siya makikita. So, I needed to lift it and separate it a bit from my background so you can see it. And then I placed a glitter heart there. So, you make me smile. Alright. So, this technique naman, remember, I use foil. Yung side ko, yung base ko, it's gold, diba? Ganyan din to. Okay? But then, what I did was to put gesso, and then I added brown on the gesso to make it a little bit, parang rust. Okay? And then, after I covered it, the whole thing, after embossing, I covered it, and then I sanded it again. Okay? So, after sanding it, it looks like that na. Okay? And then, may mga scratches pa yan na hindi masyadong makita sa camera. I hope you can see. See? There. Yung mga scratches. So, it looks really aged. Okay? And then, I just added love you. And then, I added another sentiment on top. So very much. Okay. There. Okay, then another one, this one naman is on silver. This one was on gold, this was on silver. And then I did the same technique. So the silver is very shiny, right? So what I did after embossing, it looks, very shiny. What I did is again put gesso, and then the gesso I placed brown. So it became like this, and then I sanded it again, and so it looks like this now. Okay, so distressed Paano ba? Papalapitin ba? Papalayuin para makita? Hindi ko maintindihan. Hindi niya makuha. Anyways, and then I just placed thank you. Okay, so this thank you, it's I stamped it on black paper and then die cut the word thank you and then heat embossed. Okay, that's why medyo may gold yung thank you. All right. And then, this one, the technique, okay? So, ang technique dito is embossing folder, the usual. This is the most parang frequently used technique eh. So, Versamark on embossing folder, and then after running it through, embossing powder na orange, and then dumikit siya dun sa mga ridges. Okay? And then, yung mga naka-embossed, wala. Clear lang siya white. And then, I just added Miss You. So, I stamped that and then with Versamark and then added gold embossing powder. Okay? And then, last layered it with foam, die cut. And then, this is a fabric flower. Okay? And then, another sentiment, I'm thinking of you, in-emboss ko lang din. So, this is embossed. And then, I naka-ano ng foam. So now it says, miss you, thinking, and then there's 3 pearls there on the sides like that. There you go. So it says, miss you, thinking of you. There you go. All right. So next is a thank you one. Again, how did I do this? This is, remember, I placed 3, what do you call this? Oxides. Distress oxides, brayer, binray, minix. Okay, and then, tawag dito, and then, inano ko lang siya. Nilagay ko lang siya dito. Okay, binrayer ko siya dun sa paper mismo. Okay, direct to paper. So, pagka-brayer ko dun sa binrayer ko sa papel. Okay, and then, after ko i-brayer sa papel, yung pagtuyo na, pinasok ko sa embossing folder, ni-run ko, so, ito na yung itsura niya. Okay, and then, I just added, again, thank you, embossed in gold, and then got you on my mind. Okay, that's already a sentiment sa isang 12 by 12. Kinat ko lang yan, tapos naka parang ribbon. May parang ganun lang yung edge niya. Tapos this is a plastic, parang plant na button. Okay, so nilagay ko lang. So it's wood. Okay, parang aged wood, ganyan. Alright. So, next one. Okay, so, again, okay, this one I did with perfect pearls. Okay, so I placed Versamark on the embossing folder on the deboss side. Okay, and then inserted this purple paper. Okay, and then in-emboss siya, run through the machine. And then after that, I placed perfect pearls na, I forgot what we call the purple color. Okay, so nilagay ko lang yan. And then, after that, sinet ko with water, spritz with water para mag-set. Kasi kung hindi, pag ginanyan nyo yan, sasama sa inyo yung color. Okay, so nakaset na yan with water. And then, I just added, again, this is a tag I got from a paper. And then, this is a chipboard frame. And then, just added, hello, na nilayer ko with the foam. And then, I just added 2 pearls, faux pearls. There. It says, hello, many thanks. Okay, and then the last. Okay, so the last but not the least. Okay, so, ayaw dumikit ng frame ko. Ano ba yan? Alright, so this one, remember, this is the one that I embossed lang. The usual embossing. So, you just put the blue paper in an embossing folder, run it through. And then, after that, I placed white on the edges, white ink. Okay? And then after that, medyo naghihingalo nga yung white ng ink ko, 'di ba? Okay, unlike yung kay Ayin, kitang-kita yung white niya. And then I just added this chipboard frame na ayaw dumikit for some weird reason. Ayaw dumikit. Alright, and then the word die cut love, and then naglagyan ko lang ng foam. And then this one, actually, matagal ho itong gawin. This is 3D layering, not 3D, it's called the layering flower die from Altenew. Okay, matagal hong gawin to. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 layers yata yan, I think. Hindi pa kasama yung leaves, iba pa yung sa leaves. Okay, so pinagdikit ko na lang po yan, pero magkahiwala yung flowers dun sa leaves. So matagal talaga to gawin. So actually, sila angels ko ang gumawa niyan. I just teach them how to do it. So they did that already prior. So what we do is during crafty nights po, as you can see, I already have prepared. Okay, so ginawa na namin prior to the show. Otherwise, it will take us forever. But then, definitely, this is an Altenew layering die. Okay, and then I just added faux silver pearls. Okay, and then that's it. All right, so I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tonight. Okay, so meron po akong hindi nagawang 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So, meron pong 4. Sorry, hindi ko natapos. Okay? But I definitely will finish everything. Okay. So, hopefully, and then, of course, congratulations, Miss B, for winning tonight again. All right, so let's see. Let's go back. Ayin, are you already okay?
Sige, go for
Okay, go. Sis, kulang ng takip yung isang side. There you go. Alright.
Teka, pwede umupo. Wait upo lang ako.
Alright.
Na-tired ako. Wait.
Tired.
Okay, number 1. Okay, ito yung first na ginawa ko.
Malabo,
Nag-emboss
sis. Malabo. Angat natin ang angle. Paano ba to? Nagluloko talaga yung ano mo. Ayan. There you go.
Ayaw mag-focus. Mahina, malabo pa.
Ayan.
Yan, okay. Yung first card ko, nag-embossed ako. I use my brayer to blend the 3 colors. Yung seedless preserve, yung violet, wild violet ba yun? Wilted violet, and what do you call? Shaded lilac yata, and I think. So, yan. Ito yung effect niya. So, I used an Altenew daisy bed for this. And then after that, I put some glitter pink, crystal paint to all the petals. Actually, hindi naman lahat. Yan. So, para maging glittery siya. Tapos, I added the sentiment hello, and this one is from my previous mga embossed powder na you're the best thing that ever happened to me. Hello! You're the best thing ever happened to me, no?
Yee! Alam mo na kung
Yun.
para
So,
kanino.
tapos ang base ko is gold. There, yan yung first na ginawa ko. Then, the second one, ano nga bang ginawa ko? Okay. Ito yung yung isang side. Actually, yung isang side ng deboss ba to. Tapos yung una ko, ito yung usual na side.
Okay.
Okay, so ang nilagyan ko lang siya ng base na dark violet. Tapos I also added, same lang yung yung shades na nilagay ko. May shaded lilac, wilted violet, at saka seedless preserve. Then, naglagay lang ako ng glitter crystal dun sa mga bud. Ang dito sa gitna, what do you call that? Ang dumi ng daliri. Oo, yun lang. Tapos, I added a happy anniversary na sentiment. Galing pa to kay Miss Lala.
Alright.
Yan. Hiniram ko yung kanyang yung die na maganda. Happy anniversary. There. So, 2. Then, pangatlo, ito, gumamit naman ako ng black na cardstock. And then, I embossed it with
Deco
tiles.
Dreamy
tiles pala, sorry. Dreamy tiles from Altenew again, and then I smudge some of the design with silver bee wax, metallic wax. Yan. So, para maging funky and dating. And then, naglagay ako ng Altenew na Proud of You na dye. Proud of You. Tapos, I added 2 elements from Studio Light.
Akala ko mintay siya. Studio Light pala siya.
Oo, Studio Light siya. Actually, mga tawag ito, iba yung ilalagay ko. Pero sa tingin ko, ito yung malalagay ko ngayong gabi.
Ganda
Yan, yan.
ha. Okay.
There. Simple lang, di ba? Mga simple lang. Tapos, this one,
Ayan yung unang-una mo eh.
oo, ito
Oo.
dalawa. In-embossed ko siya. Ano ba ginawa ko? Oo, tama. Naggumamit ulit ako ng brayer to blend 3 types of oxide, which is, ano nga ba yun? Yung mousse, forgot. Forest mousse, tapos brushed corduroy, at saka vintage photo ang ginamit ko dito sa dalawa.
Wow.
And then after that, kung makikita nyo, di ba, ano siya,
Paano
meron
mo yun?
siyang,
Binrayer mo? Binrayer in mo?
yes,
Okay.
nag-brayer ako. Pero yung isa, nag-try ako nung ano eh,
Direct.
binrayer ko siya, tapos, inano ko pa siya, dinirect ko yung ano, yung pad ng oxides.
Okay.
So, meron, mas ano siya, makikita mo yung may
Mas
part na
defined.
may diin.
Oo.
So, yun. Tapos, kung nakikita nyo, may polish siya na gold. Ay, actually, ano yan, copper color niya. Metallic gliding polish yung ginamit ko. So, ayan. Okay. Tapos, ito, ginamit ko yung Altenew na dye. Happy birthday. Then, I added some enamel dot.
Oo nga, no. Meron pala, hindi ko masyadong makita. Oo.
Oo, yan.
Sa ilaw
Tapos
lang yan.
this one, You Bring Me Joy, kasama to sa, hindi ko alam kung kung Kaiser Craft to eh.
Ay, oo, parang meron din ako niyan. Oo, isang paper
yan.
yan.
Maraming mga ganito eh, iba-iba. Iba-iba,
Appear.
tsaka pati color. Oo.
Yes, I think I
Tapos,
have
naglagay
that.
ako din ng enamel dots. Ito, yan. There. So, naglagay lang ako ng foam tape para meron siyang dimension.
Correct.
Added dimension. Tapos, another one, I embossed it. Ano bang tawag dito sa Altenew?
Oo, meron din ako niyan.
Cheerful Bloom.
Yes.
It's a Cheerful Bloom from Altenew. What I did, I put on top the white ink, which is the Ducraft brand.
Ducraft pigment ink pad na na white.
Yes, oo. Tapos hindi ko lang kung napapansin niyo, merong siyang area na parang may silvery.
Hindi masyado kita, pero we believe you.
Unti lang, hindi lahat. Yung mga parang parang shadow part ng ng
Anong
flower.
ginamit mong parang mga drops?
Silver.
Na transparent. Ano yan?
Ito, Studio Calico.
Ang ganda. Ang ganda niya kasi clear.
Ay, Studio Katya pala. Sorry. Studio Katya to.
Ang
Paborito
ganda.
ko talaga to.
Wala kaming ganyan eh. Out of
Tapos
stock
itong
pa.
May the Power of Love be with you. Yeah, di ba?
Always.
Ang strong ng kanyang sentiment. May the power of love be with you.
Always.
Yan. Actually to, galing to sa freebie na binigay sa akin ni Kera Craft. Yan. Ano yun parang element siya. Sample. Meron to yung sa kit. Sa bundle. Di ba may element? So, parang isa to sa mga yon. Binigyan niya ako ng sample.
Sa Mintay?
Oo, kay Mintay. Hindi makita yung ganda eh.
Oo nga
May the
But we
power of
trust
love
you.
you.
Pero gusto ko talaga yung Studio Katya mo. Na drops.
Yes.
Ang
Maganda.
ganda.
Oo. Wala na eh.
Correct.
Tapos, lastly, ito yung, di ba yung mga natira na mga oxides na ginamit ko kanina, yun yung tatlong kulay.
Oo, yan yung
Hindi ko sinayang yun. So, inisprayan ko ng water, tapos dinabdab ko lang yung yung paper para maka-create ako ng ganitong color. Tapos after that, nung pinatuyo ko siya, or hindi naman tuyong-tuyo, medyo mabasa pa siya ng onte, in-embossed ko na siya. Yun ngang cheerful, cheerful something. Cheerful flower? Cheerful bloom.
Oo.
Yan, cheerful bloom. So, ang struggle ko dito kanina, hindi kasi makita yung ano niya, yung ganda nung emboss niya. So, what I did here, kung kinuha ko yung iba't ibang color ko ng glitter crystal. So, I have here
The
the color,
acrylic.
yung may
Oo.
violet siya, tapos may red, merong green,
Mm-mm.
4 yata tong kulay. Yan,
Oo.
4 na
8 yan
kulay
eh.
siya. Oo, 8.
Oo.
Yun, ginamit ko siya para kulayan yung mga kulay niya. And nasayahan naman ako.
In
Ang
fairness.
pangit lang tignan, pero pag tinignan mo siya sa pag
No,
nakita
maganda
mo
siya
siya,
tignan.
maganda.
Maganda siya. It looks like, para siyang gem. Okay, na iba-iba.
Oo, yan.
Para siyang jewelry, ganyan.
Tapos simple lang yung sentiment ko. Best birthday wishes.
Alright.
Nakailan ako? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Miss Lala.
Oh, winner. Oh, 'di ba? Tapos feeling mo isa lang. Okay, nag-struggle lang talaga siya sa sentiment
Oo,
kasi
sa
po
internet kanina.
Oo, tsaka kung hindi sana, di natapos niya pang mas maganda yung mga sentiments na yan.
True, mas marami pa
Alright.
sana mas maganda.
Oo,
Pero
thank you
anyway,
so much, Sis Ayin. And with that, my dear sisters, Ayin, face cam please. Sis Charlene, I really love your new hair. Ingit na ingit ako. Gusto ko na rin ng ganyang hair. Alright. Charl, medyo akyat konti. Naku, nag-freeze pa si Charlene. Charl, kung kailan naman tayo aalis, hintayin natin si Charlene.
Oo nga.
Mm-mm.
Hindi, nakaano ako.
Ayan! Yay! Alright! Okay, with that, thank you so much again for joining us this weekend and spending your Saturday evening with us here at Mommy Guide Inc. for Mommy Lala and Crafty Friends on this crafty Saturday night. Actually, magmo-morning na. And again, thank you, Miss B, for winning the raffle for tonight. Alright, have a happy, blessed weekend, and we'll see you again this Wednesday on Mommy Guiding for Crafty Nights with Mommy Lala and dear friends. With my dear friends tonight, Crafty Friends, Ayin, Tracy, and Charlene. Bye!
Thank you!
Thank you!